Welcome everybody. Today we talk about nutrition in plants. Class 7 Science Chapter 1. Class 7 Science Chapter 1 Nutrition in plants. What is nutrition? Nutrition is the way we take food. Why we need food? We need food for energy, for growing, for reproduction, for repairing our cells, etc. So all living things need nutrition. Nutrition is the way in which we get our food for energy. What we see around us is living and non-living. Among living things, plants and animals need nutrition. These plants and animals get their nutrition from the non-living thing. What? The air, the water and other natural aspects. This air and water alone, is it sufficient? No. We need the lithosphere, the soil also, from where we get the minerals based on which food is made. Okay, now why we need food? We need food to build the bodies, to grow, to have energy, to repair the damaged cells and for reproduction. So if we need energy for the life processes, we need to have food. That is, we need to have nutrition. Now plants and animals need food to grow. That is, from the baby or infant, you had become a child, now you will grow up into an adult. So this is one growth. The plants also grow from the seed. We have a seedling, then we have the roots and shoots, then it becomes a plant, it becomes a tree. So that is growth. For that you need food. Then you need energy to go from one place to another, to come to the classes, to do some work. You need energy. Then you also need food to reproduce. Reproduction is by cell division and cell multiplication, for which we need food. So plants need food for growth, for energy, for repair of the cells and for reproduction. Animals also need food for the same purpose. Now what is food? Food consists of nutrients. We have studied in earlier classes carbohydrate, that is carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbohydrate, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Protein, that is nitrogenous materials. Fat, minerals and water. These are the components of the food which constitute the nutrients of the food. Components of the food are carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, fat, minerals and water. These are the nutrients in the food that we get. If these nutrients are not there in the food, there is no point in eating food. Suppose you are eating a piece of paper, then you will not be getting these nutrients, and so it will not help you to grow or have energy. So we should take food that has all these nutrients. Now when these nutrients are properly balanced, then we call it as a balanced diet. So all sorts of things we need. So if you have food only which has carb, or if you have food which has only minerals, it will not help you. We need food that has all the nutrients, so that the food is called a nutritious food. Then we will get nutrition. Then the growth or energy giving process will be meaningful for our bodies, plants and animals. Now there are the way of taking food, mode of taking food, there are two types. One is autotroph and one is heterotroph. What is heterotroph? Heterotrophs take food prepared by plants or others. Hetero means other. Heterotrophs take food from plants or others. Troph is taking it. Autotroph is prepare simple substances. Autotrophs prepare simple substances like plants that with the help of chlorophyll, in the presence of sunlight, with the help of water, using the minerals absorbed from the soil, create food. That is autotroph. Autotrophs produce food themselves. How? In the presence of sunlight, using chlorophyll, with the help of water, using the minerals that has been absorbed from the soil. So what is that autotroph doing? Autotroph is preparing simple substances. What do we call? We call a synthesize. So how we synthesize food? Plants synthesize themselves. Animals cannot synthesize. Animals have to depend upon food produced by the plant, or animals that has eaten the food produced by plant. That means what? We eat goat or buffalo or whatever which has eaten a plant or plant-based food, or we eat banana or apple which is again produced by the plant. Now, whether food is made in all parts of the plant or only in certain parts, leaves are called the food factory. Food is not usually made in all parts. Mostly it is made by the leaves. That is why it's called food factory. What does leaves have? Leaves have in their cells a product called cytoplasm. Now, all the cells have cytoplasm, but the leaves of the plant cells have something extra called chloroplast, which the animals don't have. Using the chlorophyll, chloroplasts, leucoplasts, there are three types of plasts there. The chlorophyll is the one that helps the plant to prepare the food. Is chlorophyll alone enough? No, we need sunlight. Is sunlight alone enough? No, we need air from the atmosphere. What else? We need water and minerals from the soil that is taken through the roots. So photosynthesis is a unique process by which food is prepared. The food is synthesized by the leaves, so leaves are called food factory, and mostly only leaves prepare food. In some plants, some other parts of the plant may also have capability to produce food, but in most of the case chlorophyll is in the leaves. Now chlorophyll is the green color pigment in the leaf. There are other color pigments in the leaf which are like the orange of the orange flower, rose of the orange fruit, rose of the rose fruit, or red of the apple. These colors are the pigments that are present in the coloring pigment in other cells of the plants, not the leaves. Now there are some leaves which are of other color. For example, green color leaves you have or violet color leaf you have. Those leaves also have chlorophyll and they prepare the food. But they are of the different color because the color is more and overshadows the green of the chlorophyll. Now, how do plants obtain the raw materials from the surroundings? What they do? They get water and minerals from the soil. They are absorbed by the roots and transported. They get carbon dioxide from the air. There are tiny spores called pores called stomata on the surface of the leaf, surrounded by the guard cells. So the guard cells open and close, so the stomata opens and closes, so the air, the carbon dioxide goes into the leaves to help preparation of the food. Because of this carbon and this water and minerals only, it is called carbohydrate. The food prepared by the plant is a starch. The starch contains carbohydrate and this starch is stored in different parts of the plant. Mostly, for example, in yam or potato, it is in potato is a tuber, yam is a tuber. In cauliflower, it is stored in the flowers. In some plants, it is in the leaves like a cabbage. In some plants it is in the flower, some plants in the fruit, some plants in the root. In sugarcane it is in the stem. The food prepared is stored by the plant. It is also used by the plant to grow. It is also used by the plant to flower and give seeds. It is also stored. Now, other than carbon dioxide and water, what else happens? The nitrogen is present in abundance in gaseous form in the air. The air is made up of oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, etc. But that nitrogen in the air cannot be used by the plants. So, what happens? The atmospheric nitrogen has to be fixed into as a soil mineral component. So, who does it? Mostly there are soil bacteria that convert the gaseous nitrogen to usable form and release it into soil. That is why in certain places, when you use certain plants which need lot of nitrogen, the nitrogen depletion in the soil happens and then that plant cannot be cultivated. So what do people do? The farmers go ahead with crop rotation. That means what? In one season they will have paddy, in next season they will have something else and not paddy. And then again the next season they will bring back paddy. So what happens during the season when paddy is not grown in that field, the nitrogen fixing for the soil happens and the nitrogen is replenished. This is one way of people trying to manage the nitrogen deficiency in the soil. Otherwise, what do? You add fertilizers, nitro fertilizers you add so that the plants can grow. So plants obtain raw materials from the surrounding, carbon dioxide from air, water and mineral from the soil, and nitrogen in the air fixed by certain bacteria. Now, how is food transported or the raw material transported? Now, the raw materials are transported to the leaves by the vessels which run like pipes throughout from the root to the stem to the branches to the leaves. There are pipe-like vessels created by or formed by the cells of the plant that transport the materials from different parts to the leaves. Now, what is photosynthesis? What is so unique about it? Only plants can do, animals cannot do. That is the most unique aspect of the photosynthesis. There is a green pigment called chlorophyll. It captures the energy of the sunlight. Then the solar energy, so technically what is happening? Without sunlight, plants cannot make food. Without plant food, neither plant can animal survive. Without plants or animals, human beings cannot survive. It means what? The solar energy is getting transferred or stored in some form in the ecosystem which is consumed by human beings. which means ultimately source of all energy is the sun. So there is a green pigment called chlorophyll. Then there is a solar energy. The food is stored. The food contains carbohydrate and starch. Food is stored. In green stems and green leaves, there is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is there not only in leaves but in stem. Then there are scale or spine-like leaves in desert areas to reduce loss of water, and those scale or spine-like leaves can also prepare food. These scale or spine-like leaves are found mostly in desert plants because there is less water there and you cannot waste water. Transpiration is a process by which the leaves give out the excess water. So that is the reason why places near plants, the forests where there are lots of trees, are cooler than other places. If you have some 25 trees around your house will be little cooler compared to other houses. Why? Because of the transpiration, the water vapor is released from the leaves to the air, so it is cooler. Now there are large amount of red, brown or other pigments in the leaves. That is why certain leaves are of different color. But that does not mean they don't have chlorophyll. It only means this color masks the green color of the leaves. During photosynthesis, not only that transpiration, the water is released, but also normally oxygen is released during photosynthesis. The carbohydrate, when it is prepared, the water that is taken from the soil gets released into oxygen. H2O is the water, oxygen is released, and hydrogen is used for making carbohydrate. This oxygen is what helps us to breathe. That is why we say plants are necessary for other living things. We need oxygen to breathe. If you want more oxygen, we have to plant more trees so that the oxygen balance in the ecosystem is in equilibrium state or manageable balance. Now, there are certain plant microplants called algae. They are slim green patches in ponds and stagnant water bodies. Because they are green, they have chlorophyll, they also can prepare their own food. Algae. They are the basest form of plants. The carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. This is the carbohydrate that is stored in the form of a starch or food in the plant. It is made in the presence of sunlight. The carbon comes from the minerals that is absorbed from the soil, and the carbon dioxide that is taken through the stomata. The hydrogen comes from the hydrogen of the water. Oxygen is released and the rest of the oxygen is used for making carbohydrate. Now depletion happens. When depletion happens, we have to replenish, we have to enrich. What is depletion? That means it gets exhausted, fully utilized. What is that? The nitrogen in the soil gets depleted. What do? We either add fertilizers and manures that contain nutrients like nitrogen or potassium and phosphorus, the minerals, or we add rhizobium. Rhizobium is a bacteria that can take the atmospheric nitrogen and convert into usable form. Rhizobium bacteria is normally found on the roots of the gram, peas, mung, beans, legumes, etc. Legumes in their roots have a rich collection of rhizobium bacteria. That is why when you plant legumes, the roots, the rhizobium present in the roots fix a lot of nitrogen. But legumes don't need lot of nitrogen. So the nitrogen remains in the soil. So during crop rotation, when you have some other plant, they will use this nitrogen. Now, however this is happening, this is symbiotic, natural relationship. That means what? Rhizobium in the root and the legume live together, symbiotic, help each other. Rhizobium gives nitrogen to the plant. Plant gives enough food or other nutrition for the rhizobium to survive. Pulses, dals, etc. are obtained from leguminous plants. Heterotrophic plants. Some plants cannot make their own food. You have heterotrophic plants. Heterotroph means what? Eat food prepared by others. One example is what? Cascata. Cascata, what it does, it's a yellow wiry branched structure twining around the stem and branches. You would have seen in big trees, you have this yellow wiry structure around the stem and branches. They don't make their own food. They are heterotrophic. They eat food prepared by others. Then some plants have the capability to not only eat from another plant, they can eat from the insects. What? plant will eat a insect. How? They have a capacity, they have a jug-like leaves or flowers, or they have a hair-like structure which can catch the insect. Once the insect is entangled inside, it will close and squeeze and take the minerals and materials and the chemical compounds from that insect. This is called insect-eating plant. What is example? The picture like jug-like leaf-like forms which opens and close. The digestive juices secreted in the picture absorb the nutrients. This is one way of heterotrophic. Another is a cascata yellow berry plant, and this is a parasite. Why? It takes a ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. So parasite is something which takes the food directly from the host without giving anything back. Symbiotic is a give and take relationship like a rhizobium. And then there is a another type of heterotrophic, which is a insect eating plant where the picture or a jug has a lid to open and close. The hair-like structure gets the insect in. The lid is closed and the digestive juices are secreted. Now we have something called Saprotroph. Heterotrophs, there is a rhizobium, there is a parasite, there is a cascata. Then we have the picture plant, picture jug picture, and then we have a saprotrophs. That is what they take nutrient from the dead and decaying matter. This is like the scavenger in the animals, the crow and all. They take nutrients from the dead and decaying matter. What is the example? Mushroom is a very good example. It's a fluffy umbrella-like patch growing on a moist soil or a rotting wood during a rainy season. You will find mostly during rainy season a type of wild mushroom that grows from moist old logs or woods or patches. That means what? The dead and decay plant product is giving rise to growth of mushroom, a fluffy umbrella-like patch. This is a saprotroph. And then fungi. Fungus you can see when the bread is moist and then after 2-3 days you leave it on the table, you will find that there is a fungus on the bread. Fungus also comes on pickles, it comes on leather, on jam you will find. Some clothes also will happen. Now fungal spores are nothing but the sort of seeds of the fungus that are spread and available on air all the time everywhere. What happens is when the climate is good enough, that is, and it is reasonably warm and moist, the fungal spore in the air that has settled on the bread or leather becomes fungi. That is what happens. What is symbiosis? Mutual give and take. Organisms live together and share shelter and nutrients. Lichens, a chlorophyll containing partner, which is an algae and fungus living together. Lichens is algae and fungus living together. So one has a chlorophyll which can prepare food, the other doesn't have a chlorophyll. Some fungi live inside the roots of plants. Some fungi live inside the roots of plants. Those are symbiotic relationship, a give and take relationship. Now in this example, these are guard cells. This is the stoma, singular, plural, stoma, stomata. Now the cells have chloroplast, a cell wall, inner cell wall, and then you have a vacuole. This is a vacuole. Then you have a nucleus, like any other cell. But these are guard cells, and inside you have a pore called stoma. So when swollen, it will allow the pores to open and allow the air or water or transpiration in and out. When not, when shrunk, it is closed. So this is how a swollen or a shrunk guard cells looks like, and this is how the stoma stomata works. Now coming to parts of a cell is a complex organism. You have a mitochondria, you have a plasma membrane, then centrosome, very important organelle of a cell. Lysosome is an important organelle of a cell. Endoplasmic reticulum, there is a rough endoplasmic reticulum as well as a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Two types are there. Then chromatin. The chromatin gives rise to chromosome which are in pairs. During cell multiplication, chromatin becomes chromosome. Nucleolus is the heart of the nucleus. Nucleus is the heart of the cell. And then Golgi apparatus which controls the cell, and then Golgi apparatus also has enzymes. Cytoplasm is the liquid portion of the major portion of the cell. Vacuole is where in animal cell it helps to digest and take the food and leave away the waste. In animals mostly it is not found. What are the keywords we have seen? Nutrition, nutrients, autotroph, heterotroph, photosynthesis, cytoplasm, stomata, chlorophyll, algae, fungi, lichens, rhizobium, parasites, saprotroph, and symbiotic relationship. So this is what we have seen in nutrition in plants. In the next class, we will look at how nutrition in animals happens. Thanks for watching.